Hello everyone, Daniel here from the Next Issue Podcast. On today's video, I'll be doing a review for the season 2 finale. This is episode 12 of season 2 of Andor, Jeddah Kyber Erso. Before I get into the details and spoilers, this is a this is a culmination of a great show. Maybe the best Star Wars thing out there. Maybe I mean definitely for me. I'm not gonna say this is the best Star Wars for everyone, but I love this show. I love these characters. I love this world. This specific section of the world that we are focused on. I've talked in many of my reviews that Rogue One is my favorite Star Wars film, and I just really love it. I think Diego Luna is fantastic, and all the characters that we follow here, they are truly fulfilled in their arcs, and it's just the way that this show is done is just so quality is at the forefront of what we're bringing into the show, right? Whether it's from the sets, the writing, the performances, everything just clicks together into place so beautifully. Yeah, I love Andor season 2. um, I haven't rewatched Rogue One yet. That's also on the list. I'll probably do a video talking about Rogue One, how that movie is now with the context of the two seasons of Andor. But all this arc for me is just peak Star Wars stuff. And like I said, I don't expect it to be for everyone else, but man, oh man, there's no way anybody can deny the quality and the care and the way that this show was put together. It's just fantastic stuff. Big shout out to everyone who worked on this. Just like not only because you're working on Star Wars, but like just the fact that you are working on something at this level. It's fantastic stuff. So let's get through the event of episode 12. I'll wrap up the conversation, and then, like I said, I'll come back after watching or rewatching Rogue One. So we begin with we left our characters Clea, Melshi, and Cassian in the apartment. The ISB was surrounding the building. They were coming up to take them. As the ISB approaches, K2 was on the move. They do a stun grenade into the apartment. I feel like our Cassian and the gang are they're not going to fare well. But then, of course, K2 shows off to the rescue. He does have a gun, which is interesting because in Rogue One, his whole thing was like, "Give me a gun," right? The U-wing finally takes off. It's a little bit too late for the rest of the Imperials, who, thanks to the efforts of Clea and thanks to everything in Luthen's sacrifice, they were kind of spread too thin, right? Meanwhile, in Yavin, we see Saw Gerrera talking to Mon Mothma and Draven and Bail Organa, who uh, who are like the leads of the rebellion at this point. And it's just really interesting to see them arguing with each other. Like Saw is definitely not on board with what the rebels are doing. The rebels do not approve of what Saw's doing, and there's conflict even within two fronts that are against the Empire. Um, Also, we get a shot of it has to be Akbar. It's got to be Akbar. I know it is, but like it's just so cool to see a character so iconic. The as the U-wing returns, like there's even a moment where I was like, are they gonna shoot down the U-wing? Are they gonna shoot down Cassian's ship? Because they did not have, they did not have a flight plan or anything like that. So when a ship's kind of coming in hot, they have to take precautions necessary. Luckily, they don't. Um, Cassian approaches the council, the rebels, and they name check other people that are not there at the moment. But he fills them in on the plan. He tells them all about the Death Star and the Kyber crystals and Jeddah and Galen Erso. Pretty much, he tells them the plot of Rogue One. Like this is what we need to address. We need to take care of it. Cassian also makes his case about Luthen giving everything that he had to get this information, and then finally ends up visiting Clea in the infirmary once he finally gets there. But the rebels are doubtful, right, about this information. And they should be, right? Luthen at this point is almost an extremist like Saw Gerrera was, where they're kind of doing things on their own. And even though they have, it would seem that they have a common goal. They maybe don't. Maybe they're doing this. They're approaching this in a different manner. But Mon asks her cousin Vel for help. kind of verifying, talking to Cassian about this. But it's something that leads us to a very very beautiful scene between Cassian and Bell, who both have lost people all throughout, and they named them all like throughout this, including Nemec. And then of course, then we hear Nemec's manifesto being played. It seems that the rebels use this transmission over and over again, as to kind of the thing that they're constantly doing, and we hear and we see Paragas listening to it again, and that kind of leads us to one of the darker scenes of the episode, where Paragas is to be brought in front of probably the Emperor and Krennic and even Vader, but instead he chooses to kill himself, because he did not want to face that. Right? I feel like all of the Imperials that have failed with this, with all this, um, and we saw how Vader treated Krennic in the movie, right? So who knows what would happen to Paragus? So he ends up killing himself, and rather than facing the consequences. Uh, we also see Clea. She leaves the infirmary. She runs into Vel. They also catch up, have a conversation, and because Vel also worked for Luthen, right? She lost the person that she loved, um, working for Luthen in one of their missions. So they have they have a lot of common bonds of loss, and it's interesting to see these people grieving together and bonding over the loss of their loved ones. So, and like I said, it's all due to the performances in the show. I don't talk enough about the music of this show, like the soundtrack behind everything. It is peak Star Wars stuff. And I know it's not John Williams, but man, oh man, John Williams has probably inspired so many composers. And of course, because you do want to hear those thematic things of Star Wars, there's still there's still little flourishes of Williams stuff all over the place. So I think one of my favorite scenes in this was Benjamin Bratt and Diego Luna sharing the screen. It's just beautiful for me. As you know, Diego Luna is of Mexican descent. I'm of Mexican descent. Benjamin Bratt is not. I believe he's Peruvian descent, but still, just like seeing two people of color sharing the screen on a big show for Star Wars, it's really cool. Like just like, and I know Benjamin Bratt was Jimmy Smith was originally Bale, but Benjamin Bratt really filled in those shoes. So that was great. I love the line Benjamin Bratt says, "May the Force be with you, Captain." Because Bale has gone through all this stuff with the Jedi. He knew the Jedi. He's lived with them. He knows about the Force. He believes in everything, right? And I hope that this is the moment where he passed some of that belief on to Cassian. Some of the things that he'll end up seeing. Cassian also sees for one last time the Force healer that kind of gave him told him kind of what he was destined for. So that's really really fun. In the morning, in Yavin, we see Cassian has a new mission, and this is how the show ends. Not with the big bang, not with a big fight. It ends with leading everything to Rogue One. We know what happens next after this, right? But the show does give us an overview of kind of where everyone is at this place. We see the rebels sharing breakfast and preparing for another day in Yavin. We see Deidre in prison in the same prison outfit that we saw in that fantastic episode of season one. We see Cassian walk in with renewed purpose to complete his next mission. We see Saw Gerrera just determined to fight. He's in Jeddah at the time. We see Krennic overseeing the construction of the Death Star, and we see that Cassian now is going off to see Tivik in the Ring of Caffrine, which is like all the stuff that we know is going to happen next in the film. So that's why I'm really interested to see the film. I believe Tony Gilroy talked about like, yeah, the end of Cassian leads right into the beginning of Rogue One. So that's really really cool. But there is one additional fold that was beautiful. We end up seeing that Bix went back to that farm planet that they escaped from. B2 is there, which my theory was wrong about B2 becoming K2. But I think that would have been really. I believe that his name is because of B2, right? That K2's name is B2, but it's not the same programming or anything like that. But we see Bix walking in the farm planet with a baby, who we are to believe that is Cassian's baby. But even in interviews with Adrian and Tony Gilroy, like they won't give us any more information about this baby, and that's fine. We don't need to. Maybe someday there'll be tales of the son of Cassian, another Andor running around the galaxy, saving people, kicking ass. But for now, to me, this ending was perfect and beautiful and amazing. And I can't wait to rewatch Rogue One, rewatch Andor all the way through. It's just such a great show. So if you have seen the finale of Andor, let me know what you thought about it down in the comments. As always, thank you for watching, everyone. Remember to share, like, subscribe, hit the bell so you know when we go live. That is most Saturdays, 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. And stay tuned because we have more comic reviews, trailer reactions, TV recaps, all that fun stuff here in the channel. Thanks for watching, everyone. Bye bye.